We left off on 263. Seder Kriyas HaTorah Succos. Motzi Shtei Svorim. There's Yom Tif. You take out two Sifrei Torah. Ve'echad Kor Shor Kesav Weiski Volid. Pashas Emor, which speaks about the Regolim. Ubesheni Korei Hamaftir Korbos Hamusofim. The Korbonos of Musaf. Chabishos Yom LaChodesh Hashvi. Umaftir B'Schario Hine Yom Zebo. Let's see the Mishna Berura. Ve'echad Korin came Yom Rishon, came Yom Sheni. 2 days Yom Tif. You read the same Kriya on the first day and the second day. Like the person would say, that sounds familiar. Chen Kriyas HaMaftir, Parshas Emor, B'chol B'chamisha Osor, B'chamisha B'Shabbos Shiva. Meaning, if Yom Tov falls out during the weekday, then so 5 aliyahs. Falls out on Shabbos, you have 7 aliyahs. This is besides the Maftir. U'b'mincha Korin Shlosha. So what do you do if it falls out on Shabbos? What do you do for Mincha? Mincha, you have a Kriya. Right? Parshas Osa Brocha. You always read the upcoming readings. So that's Osa Brocha. So the many times you read it multiple times, Osa Brocha. No, I'm talking about Osa Brocha that week, in terms of the upcoming Parsha. Ubesheni, Umenichin, Sefer Torah Shniya, Etzla, Vor Mekadosh. Right? It's like when you have two Sefer Torah, you leave it on the Bima, the other Sefer Torah, and you say Kaddish, then you go Hagbeh after Kaddish. But when you say Kaddish, it's on both Sifrei Torah. Hashvi Ad Ubiyom Hasheni Vim Hischel Likros Biyom Hasheni Posed. Let's say he started too far in the reading. He didn't start early enough. So you stop. Afilu Bemtza Posuk Vim Korah Binyina Acher Lo Yotza. Let's say he read something else that had no relevance to it. There's no mitzvah to just have Kriyas HaTorah. You have to read the subject matter which relates to the day. Here, person read the wrong reading. You read Parshas Zochar on the first day Sukkos. Okay, said the bracha. No, you read the right reading. You have to say the bracha over again because the first reading had no value. V'imdilek posuk echad tzorch lachzor. V'imdilek posuk b'chamisha oser. Et tzorch lachzor shari Ephraim. Maftir b'schario. Somebody was once here. I'm not going to mention names. It could be he's watching on the camera. So he was engaged to somebody, his first marriage, somebody from Brazil, from Rio de Janeiro. At that time he wasn't so observant, this person. And his future father came out to Rio de Janeiro. And the Ufruf was in the Shtibel in Brooklyn, in Borough Park, because his father was a very religious man. So the future Mechutin came. They gave him an aliyah. Gets up and he says, bracha with tremendous kavanah. He says, Lahad l'nei shulchan. The moment his father heard this, he turned colors. So right when he heard, immediately he says, let's start the reading immediately. Person never said the bracha after the aliyah. Same thing. You read another reading on Sukkos. You take out the Torah again. You read the right reading with the bracha. When I say something, say b'shem Mama. This is Menachem Tisser. That's his story. Okay. Umafter b'scharia. Zeo b'yom harishon b'mnei sheish bo inyin Sukkos. Yom sheni korei haftor b'melochim. V'yikolu avotzi osem eretz Mitzrayim b'mnei sheish bo inyin chadukos habayis shehoysa bo sa'asifo b'chag Sukkos. Right when Shlomo built the Beis Hamikdash. Right, they celebrated for 2 weeks. Right, they went through Sukkos. That was the year they ate on Yom Kippur that year. Okay. Seder Hekef Abima. Right, we encircle the bima every day with the Daled Minim when we say Hushanos. Noged Lalo Sefer Torah ala bima ula akifa. The meaning is we take a Sefer Torah and we hold it by the bima. It's not you don't put it. Somebody holds it in the center. Right? When you do Hoshanas. So they take a Sefer Torah, the person stands in the center with the Sefer Torah. Sefer Torah ala bima. Even though it says ala bima, I'm not sure what Sfardim do. Could be Sfardim, nobody holds it because it's a box. It stands. It's upright. I'm not sure. But it's Sefer Torah ala bimo, ula kifo, and to encircle the bimo. Pa'machas b'chol yom. You encircle it once. Uba shvi, on the 7th day of Sukkot, which is Hoshana Rabbo, ma'kivin osisheva pomim, zech lemigdosh. We encircle it 7 times to commemorate, because that's what they did in the base of Migdosh. Hago motzi shiva sifrei Torah labima b'yom shvi. Okay, or most cites the Maril. There was a custom on Hoshana Rabbah to take out 7 sifrei Torah. Yesh makomos, that's not our minhag. Some shuls are lucky if they have 2 sifrei Torah. Yesh makomos shemotzi kol sifrei Torah shebehechol v'chi nogim b'mdinus edel. Some communities, they take out all the sifrei Torah in the Aron Kodesh, and he says, and that's the custom. Makifin as a mizbeach. What did they do at the Beis Hamikdash? They would encircle the base of the mizbeach. Now it's interesting. There's a tshuva from Chassam Sofer. He has a shaila question. In all reform, conservative temples, okay, not synagogues, they have no bim in the center. Right? Usually, it's up front. So somebody asked the Chassam Sofer. They built a shul, an Orthodox shul. Are you permitted to daven in such a shul? The surface is Orthodox, there's a mechitza, but there's no bimmer in the center. Are you permitted to daven in such a shul? It's up front. Everything's up. The Chris Torah's up front, right before the Aron Kodesh. Whatever it is, okay? So he writes that the reason why we have the bimmer in the center, because that's the focal point. It's similar to the Mizbeach, as the Mizbeach was in the middle of the sanctuary, and they would encircle the Mizbeach. So just as the Mizbeach was the center, so identically, the Bima, that we have no Beis Hamikdash, so what's the center of our life? We have the Torah. That's the reason why we put the Bim in the center, for that reason. So it's like a Zeichel Hamikdash. Therefore, he says, so it's only Zeicher. If one doesn't build a shul for whatever reason, it's considered valid enough that you're permitted to daven there. That's the Chuvas Chassam Sofer. It's only the correct way to build it. So I'm saying similar here. Why do we encircle the bima? Because the bima is the equivalent of the Zeichel Hamikdash, equivalent of the Mizbeach, and just as the Beis Hamikdash every day was once, and on Hoshana Rabbah they encircled it 7 times. Therefore, we do the same. Zeichel Hamikdash. Va'akofis l'tzad yamin. And when you encircle it, you go to the right, as the Gemara says. The Mizbeach kol pina shetapone l'tzad yamin. When they would ascend the ramp, right, to the Mizbeach, you always went to the right. Ubeshabbos ein mekifin. We don't encircle on Shabbos. We don't, because we'd have the daled minim. Right? We encircle it with the daled minim. Shabbos we'd have a lulav. So therefore, we don't encircle the bima on Shabbos. Bimotzin Sefer Torah alam bima. We don't take Sefer Torah because they don't take it out. That gives it its special value. But if we don't encircle it, we just open, right? Aron Kodesh, we say Oshanos on Shabbos. You don't have to. You could go afterwards. You could go around the whole group. Whatever it is. The whole idea is Zeichel Hamikdash. Then you're not doing Zeichel Hamikdash. There's a whole question. There's a Be'er Halacha in the Hilchos Kriyas Torah. There's a question: do you have to listen to every word of Kriyas Torah when it's read? Meaning the question is, it's Machlok Rishonim, is the obligation of Kriyas Torah on every individual, and the Balkori is Motzi based on principle Shemei Koheneh? Well, no. There's an obligation that the tzibur must read the Torah. And you have to be present when the Torah is being read. So even if you don't hear every word, as long as you don't speak. Even if you don't hear every word, yotzei. Because you were part of a service that they read the parsha of the week. No. No, it's a different concept. It's a different concept. I mean, the true story you only have with a minyan, right? Megillah, Yotze, even yourself, you read it perfectly. Each person has the obligation to read the Megillah. The Balkori is Shemei Koheneh. That's the question. Is Kriyas Torah shomei ka'oneh, therefore you have an obligation, or it has to be read in a tzibur. So as long as you're there, even if you don't hear every word, it's okay. Because you're part of a tzibur that read the Torah. No, it's two separate. You have an obligation. Shnai mikra v'echad targum. So let's say you did Shnai mikra v'echad targum at home. You reviewed it twice with the targum. Now you come to shul. Do you have to listen to every word? That's this argument. So I'm saying could be regarding Zeichel and Migdosh, I mean the service you attend, does each individual have to encircle the bima or not? Maybe it would be the same question. So even though you don't make the full circle, it's okay. Because the service you attended, they did something which was to commemorate what they did in the Beis HaMikdash. Definitely. Yeah. That's why people follow. You see, it's interesting. In Hilchos Megillah, it's brought, you should follow. Because the halacha is Koral Pez Lo Yotze. If you read the Megillah from memory, you're not Yotze. Let's say the majority you read inside from the text, a kosher Megillah, and a minority you did not, Yotze. Right? So therefore the Mishna Berura says, he advises people to have a kosher Megillah, right? Because you don't necessarily hear every word. So when you're reading it from a kosher Megillah, you're reading it itself. But he says over there, even if you read it from, you have a chumash, you don't have, or you're just listening, right? You should have, because he says, Yotzu Shomei Koneh, right? The Balkori is Motziyu, but sometimes you miss a word. So, but even if you're reading the chumash, which is not considered a valid reading, but it's no worse than Koral Peh. It's no worse than reading it from memory. So therefore, that's what you should read along. Because you may miss a word. So when you read in the Chumash, the majority you heard from the Balkori. So that's like you read it from the text, a valid text. And the one or two words, or the minority which you didn't hear, so that you read in the Chumash. So that's like Koral Peh. That's reading it from memory, reading it by heart. Okay? But again, following it in the Chumash with Shnai mikra v'echad targum, you don't have to follow it. You don't, because again, that you can do at home, pre-reading, after reading. You're not Yotze Shnai mikra v'echad targum. No, you have to actually say it. Some people make a mistake. You ever see, I mean, you're talking about people don't know, I mean, religious people. During Sukkot de Zimra, they do Shnai mikra v'echad targum. Let's say they get up to Shochenad, and they have 10 minutes. They start doing Shnai mikra, and they verbalize the words. They articulate. It's a hefsek. You're not permitted to speak. They're speaking in the middle of Sukkot de Zimra. Not permitted. You know, they don't really think, or person. They're mouthing it. No, they finished. Or the Sukkot de Zimra is they began earlier. So now they're waiting for Shochenad. They have 10 minutes. They figured they'll use their 10 minutes to do. They haven't finished Shnai mikra v'echad targum. No, it's a hefsek. I mean, you're not permitted to mouth words at, in the location you're not supposed to speak. No, you're not telling Shnayim, not Shnayim, not doing. We only refer to a Shnai mikra v'echad. It contributing to Shnai mikra v'echad targum. That's what we're speaking about. Okay. Right.
Similar like the Dima. I heard that in Mir, they had the aura, they had to move it in the middle of the room.
I don't know. What? Why is that preferable? Well, if you know what the meaning, then you don't. You don't have to do that. You do it so many years, you know what the targum means. Maybe one word, but most words, you know what the targum means. How many has been speaking English? Do you understand English? Lahavdi. Okay.
Is the targum the good translation that we use?
Yeah, no, good translation.
The English.
There is, sure.
No, the English one.
There was, many years ago, I gave a shiur at Shai Gold's office, and there's a person who was in the diamond business. Moved to Israel maybe more than 20 years ago. He put out an edition of Hebrew on the Targum. On the Targum.
Well, I thought the English translation.
But it's a Hebrew translation. But again, you don't need it. If you, if you pair up every word with the pasuk in the Chumash, you have it. And they have it today. They print it. Shnai Mekah Vechel Targum, it's printed that way, like you have a translation in Sidurim.
Right.
You have the word, and underneath you have the translation. So they paired up the word. Same thing.
I thought the English translation was based on the translation.
No.